Just a little disclaimer. The girls are not going to be happy with me in this video because normally before I move them, I pretty much have the next section of pasture ready to go, and all I got to do is move the fence and let them in. But this time they're going to be watching me the whole time. They're going to know what's coming, so they're going to be impatient and they're not going to wait for me. It's this part here is pretty high, but there's other parts of the actual grass that's it's grazed down farther than I want it to. But the reason I'm letting it graze down because I wanted to make them graze the woods down a little bit more, just because I want, by the time that little guy is a steer, I want this to be all a good pasture where they can still, there'll still be some, you know, woodsy, you know, things besides just grass to eat in the woods for medicinal purposes. But I want it to be a lot of grass too, so therefore making good quality grass-fed beef. But for now, like, well, this was last year. This looked like this was a woods last year, basically, or a brushy spot, and now it's all this thistle. And this is going to be probably be at least 3 weeks before I get them into this spot, and hopefully they trample that down and it won't grow back. Hopefully I'll get them in there before it goes to seed too. But anyway, you can kind of see this fiberglass post. That's going to be my corner post for this next section. In this section, I'm going to just let them into this whole strip, which will be, I don't know, I'd say it's almost a couple acres time it's all said and done. And which isn't really, I guess it's just part of that adaptive grazing thing. It's like there's so much to eat out here, and but yet there's not any big patches of good solid pasture. So I'm just going to let them have this whole thing, and then in the next section I'll probably section it off, and you know, because like right here's a nice section of grass, but then this is not good grass. So I don't want to make them eat certain things for a couple of days and then go into some good grass and then, you know, keep going back and forth. So I'm gonna just let them browse this whole thing down, and it might take them a week, but I don't care. So yeah, I've got it started, and last week I just kind of had a mishap with threw the chain on the pole saw, so I didn't have a wrench with me, so I had to quit for that day. And so I think I'm going to set all my pigtail posts here, and I'll come back and, you know, trim it and put the poly wire up and let the girls in. Well, as I was walking through here, actually you can kind of see my little bundle of pigtail posts. I happened to glance over here and I seen this top strand of poly wire was down on my perimeter fence. The deer knocked it down. That's just kind of common. But then I also noticed that there's a tree on the fence over there. So I'm gonna go over to the, let me open this up a little bit. I'm gonna go over to my powerhouse and shut the fence down, and before the girls realize that I shut the fence down, I want to get this fixed and turned back on. But yeah, so that's just a little snafu. Actually, that's the first time, actually it's the second time I've had to pull a tree off this year, but it's I think it's the first time I had to fix the fence because of the deer. You still see some deer tracks in here, but not even as bad as it was last year. Last year there was still a lot of deer, but I didn't turn this fence on. I didn't get the fence done until sometime in June, and actually today is the 1st of June, so it's already been going for a month and a half, because I turned the fencer on and had the fence ready to go about 2 weeks before I actually brought the cattle out here. So it was kind of training the deer to stay out of here, plus you know, making sure the fence all worked and stuff. But anyway, that's the next step, I guess, is fixing this fence up. So as far as this woodsy area, this was the last spot I wanted to let them have, just because it's, I mean, it's still pretty wet here. It's not really, there's no standing water, but it's pretty wet. It's a pretty swampy area. In the thumb here, there's pretty much anything that's not being farmed, there's a reason for it. I think I've said that in other videos too. It's either a swamp or stony or hilly or sandy or whatever. There's reason for it to not be actually farmed. This area, the woods, is very stony, and then of course, like I just said, this is a pretty swampy area. It's always been, my father-in-law, when he farmed this ground, he always used to plant, say, leftover soybean seeds and stuff in this area, just to give the deer something to eat. Kind of a food plot before food plots were a thing, I guess. But the idea was to give the deer something to eat, and then hopefully they would kind of leave the crops alone a little bit better. But and he kept doing it, so he must saw the value of it. So yeah, now I'm gonna go turn my fencer back on and probably go get my hedge trimmer and trim through some woods. So you can look down through here, you can kind of see where I have a little path cut. You can see some bigger brushy trees, too big to cut with the hedge trimmer. I was gonna get my pole saw, but the trees that are left are small enough. I think I'm just gonna grab my hand nippers and nip them off. A couple of them are maybe a little on the bigger side, but I think I can do it. Those are kind of big. Maybe I will just grab the pole saw. It's just an attachment. I'll take this hedge trimmer off this battery pack thing, and then yeah, I'll put my pole saw on. I might bring my hedge trimmers too, just in case I do throw that chain again, because I forgot to bring the wrench with me again. So anyway, I will go do that and keep you posted. Okay, here's the part of the woods that I'm gonna say that they're done with. They ate her down pretty good. It did look probably about like that there. Kind of thick, I don't know, weedy stuff, I guess you would say. And now it's all punched up and ready to grow some good grass, I hope. And there was some grass growing, like there's some sort of a bunch of grass, probably. I don't know what kind of grass. I'm not a guru of grass, like a seasoned regenerative guy is, but I'm getting there, I guess. But yeah, there's some more grass. So there's grass growing here, but there's also a lot of trash, but it's less trash than it was. I'm hoping I can turn this girl around because I want them to all come over. Hi, Twy. Come on, honey. Oh, she apparently isn't going to come with me. There's some of the babies. Okay, the one sucking on Rosie is obviously her calf. Number 2 there with the Iron Man face. That is, yeah, obviously the second one born, but Junie was her. And then, yeah, that one there is the from Twilight, the cow that just passed me, that brown one. So I'm going to go over to the end of the field here and see if all these girls will come over, and I might just wait till this afternoon. Actually, I'm going to do that. I'm going to just wait till this afternoon to let them into the next little section. I almost hate to do that, but they got this part ate down really farther than I want to as far as the grass goes. But I was kind of hoping they'd eat more of that woodsy stuff. And they did. They did a pretty good job there, but yeah, I don't want to leave them on this grass anymore. I want to let them eat down another section and then move on from there. But yeah, I'll check back with you this afternoon. So I'm walking down this trail here, and up till this year, we always just brush hog these trails. And then a week later, it would be tall again. And you know, you'd almost have to brush hog it as much as you mow your lawn to get it, and it never would look like this. And it's cool because even along the edges where you can't get with the brush hog are chewed down. There is, this side here was never, this side here was grazed last year. This side here was not, and you can still see a lot of this. I'm thinking that's goldenrod, these taller, leafier plants, and which is fine. It's a weed, but I've got those honeybees. They're not mine. A guy brings his honeybees here, and yeah, anyway, he's got honeybees, and they like goldenrod. So so the second time over, I probably won't. Here comes some wild calves. But anyway, so second time over, I probably won't run the cattle across this. I'll let the bees have it. But as far as the rest of this, I'll give it a really good rest, and probably towards the end of summer I'll run them across it again. Probably right before I put them out on cover crops. They'll go across this one more time. Well, it's about 5:30 in the evening. I could only get 3 of those girls to follow me over into the new part of the pasture, so I ended up just kind of making that fence across there, so they have just a very small piece of pasture there. And I didn't lock them in there. They can still come out into this old spot, but for whatever reason the other girls just didn't want to follow me over. I'm guessing it's their turn to babysit, because all the calves are over there by these two, and it's cool to watch. It's like watching a nature documentary live. You know, like I said, I've been around dairy cattle my whole life, You know, in conventional dairy farming where cow has a calf, you pull the calf away, you feed it with a bottle. The mother goes out into the, you know, lot where she gets fed with all the other dairy cows, and she never sees her calf again, to be, you know, to be honest about it. But yeah, in this way, they are just kind of naturally, like I said, it's almost like it's their turn to babysit, because all the calves are here. There's, you know, 3 there, 1 there, and then there's 1 in the woods there somewhere. I can't really remember where she's at, or he's at. But yeah. Anyway, they're all here. Everybody's accounted for. They're just kind of a little bit lazy today. It's, I don't know, it's probably like 70, but it's been in the 50s for the last week probably. Anyway, I guess that's it for today. Nothing real eventful. Just moved a fence. Tried to move some cows, but they just don't want to move today, I guess. Guess they're happy where they're at. I guess that's okay too. So anyway, thanks for watching Thumb Country Stuff, and take her easy.